Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're at a concert. Now, I'm not the biggest concert goer, and it's not that I don't like live music or I don't like certain artists or just going. It's more so is just like, I don't know, it feels like one of those things that I don't really go to. It's not like a big deal or a big event for me, but I do understand it and I like it and it's cool and it's fun sometimes, but for me, it just, I don't go to a lot of concerts. That's just the big thing. I'm not a huge, like, oh my gosh, I have to get tickets and I have to go this and that. And, sometimes, if it's really special or if it's like somebody who I really want to see or listen to live, then it's like, cool, let's go do that. But I'm not a big, when any artist or music kind of comes out, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I have to go see it. I have to go do this. I have to go do that, And that's more so just like, I could just listen to it at home, I feel. That's just how I feel. I could always just sing it in the car or listen to it. I like to appreciate the music and have fun with that. And then when you go to the concert, it's kind of like, obviously it all depends on who you go to see, but it's more so like, what does it, how much of an experience did you really have, And sometimes I feel like maybe you don't get like that much of an experience, or it doesn't feel as good as you were maybe hoping it to be, your expectations were let down. So not that that's ever happened to me. Everybody who I've gone to see in concert was like really amazing, but there's a little piece of me deep down inside that just wants a little bit more. I just want a little bit more, So sometimes you like sit way at the top and you're just kind of like, they sound great. It is wonderful. And I appreciate this, but man, I wish I was a lot closer. I wish that, they were singing to me directly. You know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those weird expectations or like, feelings that you wish could happen to you. They talk to you, they sing to you, they do whatever, they know your name, they do the whole spiel, right? But I recently went to a concert, and that's why this moment was so special. It was so much fun, and I had such a good time. I went by myself, which is not to say nobody didn't want to go with me. It was just more so that like I was the only one who really knew the artist or like listened to their music, and I didn't want to just bring somebody to bring them. I wanted to just, and that way I can enjoy it myself, get the full feel of it alone. That way I didn't have to overthink it or worry about anybody else. Did you like it? What did you think? And all this other stuff is like, I like this singer, this artist, I don't have to worry about, pleasing them or making them feel like, looking at them and they don't know the lyrics to the song, or they don't know the song, or maybe they don't like it, or they don't understand it, or all this other stuff. Why put them through that? Why would I bring them along if they didn't know, and if they didn't listen, and if they didn't really care all that much? I just felt like that would have been a hassle and a little bit of a waste of money. So I went by myself. And I have to say, it was a really good time. It was really fun. And it was a small theater. It wasn't like a huge venue or like a stadium arena or whatever. But it was a nice little hall. And it was so much fun. And I was pretty close to the stage. I was pretty close to the singer. It was a lot of fun. And I kind of like it. And I made some space for myself to like jump and dance and do a couple of things. Whenever I don't want to be that person who always records it, but I record some of it so I can always go back and like look at it again, which is nice. I do enjoy recording it because I do rewatch it over and over again. But I didn't want to record it the whole time, especially because it was so packed. Everybody was so stacked, pushing against each other and moving all the time. It just didn't feel like I could reach into my pocket every 2 seconds and pull out my phone. And my battery was about to die. So I was at like 50% when the concert first started, and then I was slowly getting down to the 30s, and I was like, all right, I can't record anymore. This is it. Because when everybody's so close together, when we're all stuck and crowded, it just kind of feels like, all right, you know what? Try to make it easy. Don't get in anybody's face or put your phone up and ruin their recording of the video or whatever. Just try to relax. And I guess another reason I'm not big on concerts is because I like the music. I love the music, but I don't like crowds. I'm not big on, big, like everybody close together and stuck with each other. I don't like that. Just because it doesn't give me freedom to have as much fun as possible. Like I can jump and I can kind of do some basic like dances, like two steps or, whatever. But I can't really move. I can't really enjoy it to the fullest potential, I feel. But that's the only way to get so many people in the room, right? Everybody has to get close as possible. Everybody wants to be as close, and I totally respect that. But that's just me. I like music, not the crowds. And it's and everybody's so nice. Not everybody is kind of thinking the same thing, right? They don't want to be touching me or like pushing me or moving or any of that stuff. All they want to do is listen to the music and have fun with their friends, with their family, with whoever, right? And that's just how I want it to be. It's if it was nobody else in the room, just me listening to the song. But obviously that's not the case. There's so many people who support and listen to the same music that I do that it's inevitable. And that's why you gotta surround yourself with people who think the same way that you do. And that's kind of how I felt that night. I felt like there was so much there were so many people who were just like willing to, okay, I'm gonna let you do this or take care of that. You're gonna be fine. I'm not gonna get in your way. Everybody was really sweet and kind and nice. And there was a good couple of moments where people were like pushing and shoving a bit, but that was more so to get a little bit of space. You know what I'm saying? At one point, the singer came down into the crowd, right? They came into the crowd with us, and it was at that point everybody was like shifting and moving, trying to get the best angle picture, giving the artist space, right? Trying to make sure that they had room to sing and to move and to play their songs and whatnot. So everybody had to kind of make a big transition. Everybody had to take a few steps back or to the side, or people would move closer and squeeze tightly, which I was not a fan of, but I understood it. And the way it's just like the ocean, you can't fight against the current. You can't fight against the waves. You just got to ride through it and you'll be fine. So that's what happened with me. I had to go with the flow. I had to move accordingly. And I'll admit, I moved a little bit closer to get a good view of what was going on, but it wasn't that great, And that's another thing. You're looking at the artist or the singer through somebody else's camera, which is also really cool. Because, it's not as good as being able to see with your own eyes, I feel. But if there's like too many people in front of you, or like they're really tall, or they're blocking your point of view and whatnot, I just look at their phone and I'm just like, yeah. And I sometimes just judge the camera quality. So sometimes, everybody's got like an iPhone, but some people are recording on Snapchat, or some people are recording on this or on, I saw somebody was on Instagram Live, and I was like, yeah, that Instagram Live that quality is not as amazing as it could be. And then I saw a girl on Snapchat and I was like, the quality is good, but I don't know, I don't know how much better it is. And then I looked at the third girl's phone and I was like, oh yeah, that's crystal clear quality. I was like, that looks amazing. It was a good shot that she had. So I looked at her phone and I was watching the singer do their song, and I was like, yeah, this is perfect. This is really good, and you really got the full feeling of that moment. And it didn't bother me that people were in front of me or maybe blocking my way, or maybe I couldn't record. That didn't bother me. It was more so just like accept it and then look through their phone, which was nice. It's like a perfect, crystal clear, small little phone TV image right there. What am I even talking about? Anyways, that rarely happened, but when it did happen, I just looked at their phone and it was cool. Now, I like the small theaters because when you go to a big arena concert, most of the time I end up sitting pretty high up. Not that there's anything wrong with that, You still get the same experience. They got a big TV all set up so that way you can get a good view of whoever's performing. But that didn't happen this time. It was a really small theater, and I got pretty close to the stage. So you could just feel the person right there, right so close to you. And that's what I like. I like being close to the artist. It doesn't feel worth it or completely worth it to go to a concert if you can't get as close as you can to the artist, I feel. But that's just me, Going to the concert itself is fun. As long as, you got your friends, you got people around you. But I went by myself, so I was like, if I'm going to get in, I got to get in close. I got to get in as close as possible, and we'll see what happens from there. And it was a really good time. I can't recall another time I was that close to somebody else. I mean, there was another concert, but I'm not going to say I was like up front at the stage. I wasn't like that. I was more so in the back and dancing, and I had a lot more freedom. But this time I got pretty close and I was a little crowded, so I could jump, I could move and record some, but not a lot, and nor did I want to. So I just like being up close, as close as possible. And so do a lot of people, but there's sacrifices that have to be made. I'm sure that the people in the back had some fun, right? Because they had a lot more movement. And then I came to realize that in the back, there's literal chairs. Like there's seats in the back. And you can get a whole... When you are in the back, you're not just like blind to everything. You actually have a good vantage point of everything. You can see the whole stage. You can see them perform. You can see them sing. You can see them jump off and get into the crowd and stuff, right? When I'm in the crowd and the artist jumps into the pool of people that are attending the show, I kind of I have to look over to my left, and if there's people blocking me, I can't see, right? But if you're all the way in the back, off to the side, sitting on benches, like they have like booths where you can sit down and whatnot, or like just little seating areas, I should say, on the back and to the side, which some people were sitting at. And they were like ordering drinks, drinking water, and doing stuff. They were sitting right there. And they were getting the whole experience as well. And they were sitting down, enjoying themselves, having fun. And I was a little bit like, oh, so you guys were just chilling back here, having a good time listening to the music. And meanwhile, I'm in a crowd of people, hunched over, like trying not to get in anybody's way. Trying not to, not to move or hit anybody, and you're right there just enjoying it, but you have so much more space, so much more freedom. I was just kind of like, darn, there was a part of me that was like, man, what a different experience I would have had if I was back there. Maybe I would have done a lot more. I would have danced a lot more. I could have moved some. I would have gotten a different position with the camera. But all in all, I feel like I made the right choice by trying to get as close to the stage as I could, because if I hadn't, I don't think I would have felt like I got my money's worth, I guess. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm just rambling here. But being that close to to them, to who they are. It's just so much fun, you know? And you're just trying to like wave at them and just trying to send them any kind of energy to them. Just kind of be like, I'm right here. You're doing great. You know, I'm kind of like that. Now, going to the concert, depending where you are, depending where you live, depending on if the person is even coming to your city or state or whatever, or country even, right? You gotta make decisions. So I went to the concert, and luckily for me, they weren't too far away. It was only like an hour's drive to get there. So I had to get a parking spot, so that way I knew that my car was taken care of and I didn't have to worry about it. But I also had to park it 2 miles away from the venue. So I couldn't just, it wasn't just like a 5-minute walk away. It was like a 20-minute walk, all things considered, right? But first is the drive. And the drive to the concert is arguably like the buildup of it is a lot of fun, because driving there, I was just blasting their music, trying to get my mind to remember all of the lyrics. You know, you gotta, oh, what is this song? Oh, I messed up on that part, or this is what they're gonna do it, or this is how they're gonna sing it. That's what I do. I try to like refocus, and I get into a big craze. Now, that probably messed up my voice a little bit, because during the concert, my voice kept on cracking. I mean, my voice is still recovering now. It's only been a day, but my voice is just all over the place. It's destroyed. I was singing and screaming so much. But it went in between, right? Whenever I tried to yell, my voice would crack. And I felt so embarrassed just yelling, you know, random things, waiting for the singer to start the next song. You know how there's like a lull in between songs? It's not like just song after song after song. I mean, sometimes it is, but this time it wasn't. It was more so like song, a little bit of a breather, and then another song. And I would yell out like little comments here and there, just for fun. Just, you know, if they heard it. But they, you know, they didn't, which is fine by me. Everybody else was laughing. Everybody else who heard it was having a good time. So as I'm going to the concert, I'm already, you know, got their music on my brain. I have to concentrate on the road. And my Google Maps, as I'm like trying to figure out where to drive or how to maneuver through the city or wherever I'm going, I have to like focus on 3 things at once. I have to make sure that all the cars around me, I have to make sure the music is blasting, and I have to also make sure I'm going the right direction. I can't mess up. So I make it to the car garage or in the place and stuff, and I come to realize it's not a self-park. I thought it was a self-park. You know how you just drive in and you can park wherever you want? It's not that. It's a valet service. So somebody's going to come in, take the car, and then park it. And a little piece of me was just kind of like, all right, should I really trust this person with the car? Fine. So I have to like get all of my stuff. Like I brought a few things with me. I brought like a backpack with like water and snacks and some other things like a charger and all that good stuff. And I was like, okay, let me just put this in the back. So I put it in the back, and then they took the car, and then I had to walk to the venue. And as I'm walking to the venue, I'm starting to notice that it's not so bad. It's actually pretty much a straight shot, but there's, you know, what am I trying to say? There's a lot of street lights. So I have to stop, wait, and then cross the street, which was what was most time consuming. It wasn't so much the walking part, it was the lights. I had to stop and be aware of the cars, and then I had to keep on going, you know what I'm saying? So finally, we make it to the concert venue. We make it to the place that they're holding the concert. And when I get there, there's a post office right near it. There's a post office right there. And I realized that the place between the concert and the concert hall and the post office is pretty close. But where the line started and where the line ended, there was a big gap. I mean, compare where the concert hall is and where the line started, there was a big gap. So I was like, okay, so there's a line, and it looked like they were all going to the post office because that's where the line started. It was right at the front of the post office. So I was like, everybody's going to get mail? What's going on? And then I came to realize, oh, snap, this is actually the line for the thing. So I'm waiting in line. I get to the end of the line and I'm like, oh my goodness, I should have gotten here earlier. Why didn't I get here earlier? I should have clawed my way to the top. You know, I should have gotten here so much earlier, but I couldn't, you know. No need to blame yourself for that. So as I'm waiting in line, I'm like, okay, this is going to take some time. You just got to tough it out as much as you can. So I'm standing there, and I am constantly singing this artist's music over and over and over again in my head just to keep me sane, just to keep me going, you know, because I'm just standing there. No phone, because my phone is if I was using my phone would have died a lot sooner because I brought a power charger or, you know, one of those USB chargers to help you charge your phone, but it wasn't compatible. Long story short, it just didn't work, right? It didn't work for it. So I was like, oh, so I can't even use my phone. I can't even plug it in. It won't charge. So I was like, this is a big bummer. So as I'm standing there, I realized, okay, we're gonna have to turn off the phone. We're gonna have to turn off the phone and do something else, you know, whatever you can do. Use your imagination. So I'm like imagining, you know, little cartoons fighting. I'm having like I'm rewatching like whole episodes of shows that I can remember. I'm trying to think about like just random stuff, just anything to get me through when I'm going while I'm waiting in line. Just anything to entertain my mind, just so that way I don't think about how I'm standing outside in the cold. And it was cold. It got cold. It kept getting colder and colder and colder. And everybody in line was pretty much feeling the same way, but everybody was also getting food. And now, I didn't really care about that because I didn't want to eat, because then I might feel like I have to use the bathroom, or like I didn't drink any water because I might feel like, you know, I just didn't want to go through that. So everybody else was getting food and grabbing stuff, and I was like, you guys aren't a little bit afraid that once you get in there, you're going to have to like find a bathroom? And then there was this one girl who needed to find a bathroom, and she came up and she was like, do you guys know where the bathroom is? And I was like, I have no idea. Like, and then somebody else kind of like helped her out. They were like, it's over there, I think. And then she's running and running and running. And I don't know if she actually did end up finding a bathroom or going to the bathroom. But that was like a big nightmare for me, you know, to be outside in that line and then have to use the bathroom and then come running back. You know what I'm saying? That is not fun. But waiting in line was probably the harshest thing about everything, about it all, you know? Just to get inside, you had to wait out there and you had to stand. There was no seating areas or anything like that. So it was tough on my feet. And then once you get inside, you got to stand some more, and then you got to dance and you got to do the whole thing, right? But overall, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Was waiting in that line worth it? Absolutely, it was worth it. It was so much fun. I gotta tell you, it was amazing. It was such a hype moment for me. It it elevated my mood. I wish I could tell you all. I wish I could show you all exactly the level of fun I was having. I was just in the moment, and it felt like every single hit of the drum was like following my heartbeat. It felt like every lyric that I sang, it was just like, so we were perfectly in tune. I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I was doing it all correct. It was definitely a good time. And waiting in line, I mean, obviously the time passed, but looking back on it, was it worth it? I'm like, I will do it again and again and again. But I'll just be smarter about it next time, Maybe I'll bring like lawn chairs or something. But now, once we get inside, there's a waiting period. So, they open the doors, right? And then once they open the doors, that's when you kind of have to be like, okay, now that the doors are here, now that the doors are open, where are you gonna stand? Where's your go-to spot? I leaned a little more over to the right, just because, I don't know, that's just where I kind of came in from the whole place, because there was a couple of spots to come into, and I just came in from the right side, and then I just walked in. And in the back, there was like, they were selling merchandise, they were selling drinks in the back, and all of that other stuff. And none of that really interested me all that much, because one, if I get a drink, I might have to use the bathroom, which I did not want to do during the concert. And two, merchandise, I feel, not that the merch isn't cool and it's not fun. It definitely is. It's definitely really, really good to buy it, and it's like something to hold on to, a tangible item from the show, or to show your support. I think that's really great. But for me, it's just kind of like, no, I don't want to move. I don't want to wait to get merchandise. I don't want to do that. Let's just stand here and watch the concert, because that's what I'm here for. At the end of the day, I can buy merch online. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to stand, here and waste my opportunity until I get merch, I feel. So now that we're inside, it's all about, you see everybody taking photos, right? It's all about getting that good picture just before they get on stage, just before anything really starts. Because I look around, and that's why everybody was taking pictures, and I offered to take some pictures, and it was really sweet. It was really nice. I tried to get as many angles as I could. All I could end up doing was just like a regular photo, and then I crouched down, and then I did like an upward photo, like from the ground, like from the floor up. That's where I was positioning the camera angle, so that way it made them look really tall, and I thought that was cool. And also there was a disco ball on the ceiling, though I didn't get any of that, but you get what I'm trying to say, I feel. So now that we're inside, now that I'm inside of the place, it's just kind of background music and everybody filing in, everybody coming in at once. And you just hear like the most random conversations. And you're I saw a girl playing chess on her phone, and I was kind of like, what? Obviously she's waiting, there's nothing wrong with playing chess. But like, I looked over and it was so random. I was like, oh my gosh, she's playing chess with the computer or whoever, right? And I was just kind of like, hey, I get it. There were other people playing the heads up game on their phone, which was a brilliant idea. And I also have it on my phone, but I didn't want to waste my phone battery until the main event happened. So I was just like, darn, I can't do anything. And also, another step about getting inside, I had to empty out all of my pockets. And inside of my pockets, I had the power charger, I had my wallet, I had like my phone and everything. And I just had to empty it all out right then and there. And then obviously, I went in, I made it inside. But it just felt like come on, you just trust me. I have everything. You know, I got nothing in my pockets. So I just dumped it all out, and they were like, all right, you're good to go. I was like, whatever, fine. So I got out. And then the opening artist comes out. Now, I didn't know the opening artist, but she was really nice. She sang beautifully. I thought she had an incredible voice, but I didn't know any of her songs. I didn't know any of her lyrics. So like sitting there, I was just standing there, I was just kind of like, she sounds really good, you know? And for me, I never look up the opening artist. I never like go out of my way to be like, all right, who is this person? I need to know. I'm kind of like, you get one shot to wow me with your talent and your music, or, you know, we're just gonna ride the wave until the main event comes out. And that's how I pretty much gauge if they're I don't want to say a good artist. My liking towards them is predicated on if they put on a good show. And she did a really good job. I felt like she was just having fun up there. She was definitely enjoying herself. She was feeling the song and the music, and she kind of did like this weird dance move, and I was just like, what is going on? And she was just like, and then afterwards she called herself out on it. I was just kind of like, that was weird. And then she was like, yeah, I kind of did this weird move up here. And I was like, yeah, that was funny. And then, you know, she does that thing where it's like, all right, are you guys ready for the main artist? And we're like, yeah, obviously, we're all here, you know, let's do it. And then finally, the main event comes out. I'm trying to like do the drum roll. Drum roll. I can't do it right now. But drum roll. And it was just about waiting. It was a waiting game. And we all thought that the person was going to come out at a certain time, because the opener came out at like 8 o'clock, right? Then the main act, then they started setting, the opener ended at like 8:30, and then the main act came out, we thought was going to come out at like 9, but it was like 9 o'clock and some change. It was like 9:10, 9:15, something like that, when they eventually came out on stage. And the actual show was absolutely amazing. The show was, without a doubt, I mean, from the moment it started to the moment it ended, I was so entertained. I was so captivated. I was so in the moment watching everything that was happening, seeing how they were playing their music on the piano, playing the guitar with the crowd, having fun. I mean, all of it together was just a big thrill. I was really having a good time and a lot of fun. Forget all of the pain my feet were going through, my legs. Forget all of the cold I was feeling. Forget everything out there. And that moment, it was all worth it, and it was just a great time. And the show was just, I mean, obviously, when you know the artist and you know their song catalog and you know everything that they've done, it's kind of easy to be like, every song is a hit. Every single song I knew, every single song was so perfect and blah, 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 right? And that's how I felt. I was like, every single song just was perfectly created. The set list was made just right. And they did a cover of some songs, and that was also great too. And I felt like for me, it just all was built so perfectly in that moment, and nothing missed. Nothing, you know, sometimes you're kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't have done that song, or maybe there was another song I could have done, or maybe there was a better song to put up there, but nothing missed. It was all perfect. And then during the show, I was just raising my hand. I was screaming. I was singing the songs perfectly, lyric for lyric. I was I was doing it the best way I knew how, and I was just loving every moment of it. So a big thank you to the artist, who is Joshua Bassett. I went to go see Joshua Bassett in San Francisco at the Fillmore. It was absolutely incredible. I got a poster from it. I'm gonna hang it up soon. It was so much fun, and he was so sweet and so cool. It was a great time. Now, after the show, there's the after show come down, right? This is the point of the night where it's like, all right, you've experienced the highest of highs. Now you gotta calm yourself down. You gotta get down to the, like, all right, now we gotta cool down and let go of all of the things that just happened right now. You know, all of the excitement, all of the hype, all of the joy, everything that just happened. We gotta cool down. We gotta, get down to this low point. And that's where my voice started to go. My voice is still kind of messed up now, kind of from over screaming and singing and doing the whole thing. But at the after show cool down is where you can really digest the whole concert. That's where you really, like, was it really a good time, or was I just there in the moment? And it was during that time that I finally figured it out. And I was like, no, that was so much fun. There was no, the cool down period, or like the drive back home. Like, that was kind of the cool down period. The drive back home is where you're like, all right, was it good, or was it actually, just you were there and it was happening and that's what was going on? But no, on the drive back, you get some clarity in your mind and you're like, I had a great time at the show. It was so much fun. And I loved every second of it. From the moment he came out on stage to the moment he got off, and then he came back on because we encored him, and then he left again. It was all just so much fun and a great time. So I felt extremely happy to go home after experiencing that and to enjoy that moment. It felt really fun. So on the way back home, the cool down, and then also I like to get it was also pretty late and I hadn't eaten anything, so I was like, all right, let me go grab something. So that was kind of like my final meal of the night, or, the final joy, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like a finishing touch on the night. And with that, I just kind of felt like that night was pretty much great. It was a great example of something that I enjoyed and I got to experience for me and I got to enjoy for me, and it didn't matter what anybody else was doing. All that mattered was I was having fun. And finally, I came back home, and you put all of the things back where they belong. I put away my I just get ready to go to sleep finally, and then you're just looking over, and then you go on your phone and you start looking at the internet, what everybody else experience was that night, or who else was there and what else other people were doing. And so you're just looking and scrolling through it, and you're just kind of like, that I was literally just there, and now everybody's like talking about it, posting about it. And it's kind of like, yeah, it sucks to suck. Wish you could have been there, losers. So, no, I'm joking. But that's kind of just how I'm thinking. I was like, I got the real experience, and you guys are just witnessing it on social media. I was actually there. And that's funny. That's not like a huge flex, because some of the camera quality is a lot better than what I got, And they actually got to see him at certain points. Because when he would go over to, like, let's say the left side of the stage, then obviously, I couldn't really see him all that well. But when he came over to my side of the stage, it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. So, all in all, I had a great time seeing Joshua Bassett in San Francisco. I got to see him opening. It was the first show of his 2023 tour. So that was fun. Oh, and it was also because I also went because when he initially released his concert tickets, I couldn't get them. because I was out somewhere, and it was initially sold out. But then he had to reschedule the whole thing, and then he resold tickets, and that's when I bought him, and that's when I could go see him. And that was like, what are the chances that fate brings us together? You know what I mean? So that's what happened, and I had a phenomenal time. And that's what happens when so when you're at a concert, it's all about having fun, being yourself, and just, it doesn't matter who you're with or what you're doing. It's just about, did you enjoy it? And do everything you can to enjoy it. If that's you recording it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If it's you dancing and jumping and being in the back and having space and freedom to move and not being consumed by the crowd, do it. I promise you, you'll still have a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for listening. I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you.